him, Amanda.
I want to be loved and wanted and touched. I'm your wife.
I fucking love you, Amanda. I can't breathe when you are not near. I can't bear to see you look at another man.
Then love me, touch me, want me. Please don't ignore me, please.
Amanda Harford's husband grabbed her wrist as she reached for the champagne. Not gently. Not the way a husband who hasn't touched his wife in 18 months should. His fingers pressed into her brown skin hard enough that she'd see the marks tomorrow. Desperate, claiming. Like he'd been holding back for 2 years, and something inside him had finally snapped. "Don't," Kim Tae-hyung said, voice low and dangerous. Amanda looked up into her husband's face, this man whose ring she wore, whose bed she'd never shared, whose eyes followed her constantly, but whose hands never reached, and saw his carefully maintained control cracking. His dark eyes were wild, unguarded, raw. "Don't what?" Amanda's heart hammered against her ribs. "Don't look at him like that." Across the Lotus Grand Hotel ballroom, watching them with eyes full of regret and something darker, stood Min Jun Park. The photographer, the artist, the man Amanda had loved when she was 22 and believed in forever. The man who'd disappeared 7 years ago without a word. The man who was back. Looking at her like she wasn't married. Like she was still his. And God help her. Amanda felt something stir that had been dead for 2 years. Tae-hyung felt it too. She could see it in the way his jaw clenched, the way his grip tightened, the way he pulled her closer, his body heat seeping through the thin fabric of her emerald Valentino gown. "Who is he?" Tae-hyung demanded. Amanda could lie, should lie. But she was tired of pretending. "Someone I used to love." Tae-hyung's eyes went black. "Used to? Does it matter? You don't want me anyway." "Don't I?" He pulled her flush against him, the first time in their entire marriage he'd held her like this. She could feel every hard line of his body, could smell sandalwood and something darker that made her knees weak, could feel his heart racing as fast as hers. "You're mine," he said into her ear, lips brushing her skin. "I don't care who he is. You're mine, Amanda, and I'm done pretending otherwise." Then he released her and walked away, leaving Amanda shaking in the middle of the ballroom, more awake than she'd felt in 2 years. Happy New Year, besties. If you're already hooked, kindly show your encouragement by hitting the like and subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you to those who already subscribed before now. You inspired me to keep creating more videos like this. This isn't just a love story. This is a war between a husband who can't admit what he wants and a first love who came back to claim what he lost. And Amanda's about to be caught in the middle. 2.5 years ago, Amanda's father, Jonathan Harford, CEO of Harford Tech, had a problem. His company was bleeding money. A bad investment, worse timing, and suddenly the tech empire that had been in the Harford family for 3 generations was on the verge of collapse. Enter the Kim family, Korean-American royalty. Kim Industries, worth billions, looking to expand into Harford's market. They proposed a merger, a partnership, and to seal the deal, a marriage. Kim Tae-hyung and Amanda Harford. The perfect union of old American money and new Korean power. A merger of empires wrapped in a love story the press would eat up. Except it wasn't a love story. Amanda met Tae-hyung at an interview dinner. That's what her mother called it. Like Amanda was applying for a job, which, in a way, she was. The job of being Mrs. Kim, of saving her family's legacy with her body and her name. She'd expected to hate him, expected some cold, calculating businessman who saw her as a transaction. Instead, Tae-hyung talked to her about W.E.B., Du Bois, and Frida Kahlo, and finding identity in the space between cultures. He asked about her photography, her curatorial work at the Met, her dreams. He listened like her words mattered, like she mattered. And when he looked at her, really looked at her, with those dark, intense eyes, Amanda felt seen for the first time since Minjun had left. So she said yes, to the marriage, to the merger, to becoming Mrs. Kim and saving her family's company and believing that maybe, just maybe, this arranged marriage could become something real. She'd been so stupid. The wedding was beautiful, massive, a society event covered by every magazine. Amanda wore white, custom Vera Wang, because the Kim family insisted on perfection. Tai Hyung wore black. They looked like a fairy tale. They took their vows in front of 500 people, promised to love and cherish, till death do us part. And that night, on their wedding night, Tae-hyung took Amanda to their honeymoon suite, kissed her forehead and said, "I've prepared the guest room for you. I thought you'd be more comfortable with your own space." Then he left her standing there in her wedding dress, alone. That was 2 years ago. 2 years of separate bedrooms, 2 years of polite distance, 2 years of watching her husband watch her with those obsessive eyes but never, ever touch her. Until tonight. Tonight, something had changed, and Amanda didn't know if that made everything better or infinitely worse. Amanda found Minjun in the gallery annex photographing children's portraits for the foundation. His work. He'd become renowned in the 7 years since he'd left. Awards, international exhibitions, everything he'd dreamed about when they were young and in love. "Amanda," he lowered his camera. "I wasn't sure you'd come. I shouldn't have." They stood 5 feet apart, 7 years of silence between them. "You look beautiful," Minjun said quietly, "but sad. You look so sad." "I'm fine. You're married to him." "Yes. The man who grabbed you like he owns you. He's my husband." "That's not an answer, Amanda." She felt tears threaten. "Why are you here? 7 years, Minjun. 7 years of nothing." "My mother," his voice cracked. "The day I landed in London, she was in a car accident in Seoul. Critical. I flew straight there. Spent 3 months in a hospital while she was in a coma, and when she finally woke up," he stopped. "The recovery was long, 2 years, and I was drowning in it. I couldn't reach out, couldn't pull you into that darkness. By the time I could breathe again, I'd convinced myself you'd moved on." Amanda's chest tightened. "You should have told me. I know, I messed up. But I'm here now. And Amanda..." He stepped closer. "I see how he looks at you. Like you're his possession. Not his partner. You deserve more than that. You don't know anything about my marriage. I know you're not happy." "Mrs. Kim?" They both turned. Tae-hyung stood in the doorway and the temperature dropped 10 degrees. "The speeches are starting," he said, voice ice. "Your mother-in-law is waiting." "Tae-hyung, now." It was a command. Amanda felt something in her rebel, but this wasn't the place. Not with hundreds of guests. Not with society watching their every move. She followed him back to the ballroom, feeling Minjun's eyes on her back, feeling the weight of choices she didn't know how to make. The rest of the gala was torture. Tae-hyung's hand never left her waist during his speech, possessive, burning through the thin silk of her dress. Every time her eyes drifted toward Minjun, his fingers tightened. A warning. A claim. When photographers asked for a couple's photo, Tae-hyung pulled her so close she could barely breathe. His hand splayed across her hip, thumb stroking the sensitive skin there through her dress. It was the most he'd touched her in their entire marriage, and her body was responding in ways that made her hate herself. "Smile," he murmured in her ear. "Everyone's watching." Amanda smiled. Perfect. Practiced. Dead inside. The camera flashed, capturing what would become the cover of 3 different society magazines. The perfect couple. The beautiful lie. Amanda stood beside him, silent and screaming inside, wondering when her life had become a performance she didn't recognize. After the speeches, after the forced mingling, after playing the devoted wife to his attentive husband, they finally escaped to the car. Rain was falling. Heavy drops that turned Manhattan's lights into watercolor smears. Neither spoke during the drive home. Amanda watched water stream down the windows, feeling Tae-hyung's tension filling the car like smoke. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles were white, his jaw was clenched. Every line of his body screamed control barely maintained. They rode the elevator to their penthouse in suffocating silence. Amanda could feel the storm building, could see it in the way Tae-hyung's eyes kept finding her reflection in the elevator's mirrored walls. Dark, hungry, dangerous. The elevator dinged. They stepped into their home. If your heart is racing, hit that like button, because we're about to go somewhere intense and you don't want to look away. The penthouse was dark when they entered. 20 floors above Manhattan, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the city sprawled below like scattered diamonds. Their home. This beautiful, cold space where they lived like polite strangers. Amanda kicked off her heels, felt the cool marble under her feet, started toward her bedroom, the guest room that had been hers for 2 years. Don't. She froze, turned. Tae-hyung stood in the middle of the living room, tie loosened, hair messed up from running his hands through it. He looked dangerous in a way she'd never seen. Don't what? Don't go to your room. Don't walk away. Not tonight. Tae-hyung? Who is he? His voice was rough. And don't give me that someone I used to know bullshit. Who is he really? Amanda felt 2 years of silence crack open. You want the truth? Fine. Minjun Park was my first love. We were together for 3 years. He was everything to me. He left for a study program in London and disappeared. No calls, no texts, nothing. I spent a year waiting for him, crying over him, rebuilding myself from the pieces he left behind. And now he's back. Yes. And you felt something when you saw him. Yes. Tae-hyung's eyes went black. What did you feel? Does it matter? Yes. It fucking matters. He crossed the room in 3 strides, stopping inches from her. Tell me what you felt. Amanda's heart was racing. I felt seen. For the first time in 2 years, someone looked at me like I was a person, not a prop. Like I mattered. You think you don't matter to me? I know I don't. You've made that abundantly clear. Have I? His voice dropped dangerously low. You think I don't notice you? Don't see you? You look at me all the time, but you never touch me. You watch me constantly, but keep your distance. So yes, Tae-hyung, I think I don't matter to you. Not really. I'm just the wife you're obligated to have. You have no idea. He grabbed her shoulders and Amanda gasped. You have no fucking idea what you do to me. Then tell me. I can't. Why not? Because... He released her, stepped back, ran both hands through his hair. Because the way I want you isn't normal, Amanda. I notice everything about you. Everything. I know you take your coffee with oat milk and 2 sugars. I know you reorganize the bookshelf by color when you're anxious. I know you sing old jazz in the shower. I know you cry at night when you think no one can hear. I know the exact sound you make when you're frustrated, the way you bite your lip when you're thinking, the perfume you wear on Mondays versus Fridays. Amanda's breath caught. I watch you constantly, Tae-hyung continued, voice rough. I know your schedule better than mine. I know when you're at the Met and when you're having lunch with your mother. I know what time you go to bed and what time you wake up. I think about you every single second of every day. I want to know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing. I want to keep you here where only I can see you. Want to lock you away from every other man who might look at you the way that photographer looked at you tonight. He turned to face her, and his expression was raw. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's dangerous. So I kept distance. I thought if I never touched you, never let myself have you, I could keep us both safe from what I might become. And tonight, Amanda whispered, tonight I watched another man look at you the way I don't let myself look at you. Watched you respond to him. Watched you feel something. And I realized keeping distance didn't protect us. It just made us both miserable while I slowly went insane wanting you. The confession hung between them like a live wire. What are you saying? Amanda asked. I'm saying I'm done. Taehyung stepped closer. I'm done pretending I don't want you. Done keeping distance. Done protecting you from something that terrifies me. Which is, how much I need you. His hand came up slowly, cupped her face. Amanda's breath hitched. How much I want to consume you, own you, keep you. How much I... He stopped himself, jaw clenching. How much you what? Amanda pressed. How much I've been falling for you since the day we met. The words hit her like a physical blow. What? You heard me. His thumb stroked her cheekbone. I've been falling for you for 2.5 years, fighting it every step, watching you from across rooms and barely keeping my hands to myself, lying awake at night knowing you're down the hall and I can't touch you, going slowly insane wanting my own wife. Then why? Because I watched my father destroy my mother with this exact same need. He wanted her so completely that he isolated her, controlled her, made her into nothing but an extension of himself. And she let him, because she loved him, because intense want looks like passion until it becomes a cage. Taehyung's voice cracked slightly. I swore I'd never do that, never need someone so much that I'd hurt them to keep them close. So I kept distance. I thought if I never touched you, never let myself have you, I could keep us both safe. But Amanda, his forehead touched hers. I realized tonight that I can't do it anymore. I can't watch you want someone else, can't pretend I don't need you, can't keep living like this. So what do you want? Amanda's voice was barely a whisper. I want you. His hand slid into her hair, tilting her face up. I want to be your husband in every way. Want to touch you and have you and wake up next to you. Want to stop pretending we're strangers. Want... He stopped, breathing hard. But I'm terrified I won't be able to control it, that I'll become what I swore I'd never be. What if I don't want you to control it? Amanda said. What if I want everything you've been holding back? Amanda, I'm tired of distance, Taehyung. I'm tired of being invisible. I'm tired of feeling like there's something wrong with me because my own husband won't touch me. So if you want me, then have me. Show me what you've been hiding. Let me decide if it's too much. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me. Taehyung's control visibly frayed, his grip tightened in her hair. His eyes went dark. Last chance, he said roughly. Tell me no. Tell me to go to my room. Tell me you want things to stay the way they are, because if you don't stop me, I'm not going to be gentle. I'm not going to ease you into this. I'm going to show you exactly what I've been holding back for 2 years. Amanda looked into his eyes and made her choice. Yes. Yes what? Yes to all of it. Yes to everything. Yes. Taehyung kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was 2 years of restraint, shattering, his mouth claiming hers with desperate hunger. His hands everywhere, her hair, her waist, pulling her against him like he wanted to fuse them together. Amanda kissed him back just as desperately, fingers gripping his shirt, tasting rain and want and all the loneliness she'd been swallowing for 2 years. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Taehyung looked at her with dark, intense eyes. My room, he said. Now. It was a command. Amanda should have bristled, should have asserted her independence. Instead, she let him take her hand and lead her down the hall to his bedroom, the room she'd never entered in 2 years of marriage. Taehyung closed the door behind them, locked it, turned to face her. I need you to understand something, he said, voice rough. Once we do this, I'm not going back to separate rooms. I'm not going back to distance. You're going to be mine in every way, and I'm not going to hide how I feel anymore. Can you handle that? Try me. Amanda, stop talking, she said, and show me. So he did. He crossed the room in 2 strides and kissed her again, hands already working the zipper of her dress. The silk pooled at her feet. His sharp intake of breath when he saw her standing in just her lingerie made her feel powerful for the first time in 2 years. Beautiful, he murmured against her neck. You're so fucking beautiful it hurts to look at you. His hands mapped her body like he was memorizing every curve. His mouth followed, and when he finally lifted her and carried her to his bed, Amanda felt 2 years of loneliness crack open into something that might be healing, might be dangerous, but was definitely real. When he moved over her, his weight pressing her into the mattress, Amanda felt claimed, wanted, seen. Mine, Tae-hyung said against her skin. Say it, say you're mine. I'm yours. Again, I'm yours, Tae-hyung, only yours. And when they finally came together, it wasn't gentle or tentative. It was intense and all-consuming, and everything they'd both been holding back. His hands gripped her hips hard enough to bruise. His mouth left marks on her neck. He took her apart and put her back together, and Amanda had never felt more alive. After they lay tangled in sheets that smelled like sex and sandalwood. Tae-hyung's hand traced patterns on her back, his lips pressed against her shoulder. Stay here tonight, he said quietly. In my bed. Don't go back to your room. Okay. Tomorrow night too? Okay. Every night. Amanda turned to face him. Are you asking me to move in? To your room? I'm asking you to actually be my wife. To share my bed. To let me hold you while you sleep. To stop living like we're strangers. His hand cupped her face. Can you do that? Yes. Something in Tae-hyung's expression softened. He pulled her closer and Amanda let herself be held, let herself believe this might work. But even as she drifted towards sleep, she felt her phone buzz on the nightstand. Text from Min-jun. I need to explain everything. Please give me a chance. Coffee tomorrow? She didn't respond, just turned it face down and tried to ignore the flutter of guilt in her chest. Comment if you're Team Tae-hyung all the way. Because Min-jun isn't done fighting and things are about to get complicated. Amanda woke tangled in sheets that smelled like sandalwood and Tae-hyung. Alone. For a second, panic hit. Had he left? Pulled away again? Then she heard water running, saw him through the open bathroom door standing under the shower, head bowed. She wrapped herself in his shirt, white Oxford that hit her mid-thigh, and went to him. He tensed when she opened the shower door but didn't tell her to leave. Amanda stepped in, water cascading over them both, and touched his back. Talk to me, she said. I wasn't gentle. I didn't ask you to be. Amanda. He turned to face her, and his eyes were troubled. I marked you. There are bruises on your hips from where I held you, your neck. I lost control, completely. That's exactly what I was afraid of. Amanda took his face in her hands. Look at me, really look. Do I look unhappy? Tae-hyung studied her face. No. Do I look afraid? No. Then stop catastrophizing. Yes, you were intense. I knew what I was signing up for. Yes, there are marks. I like them. They're proof that you finally stopped holding back. What if I can't control it? What if... Then we'll figure it out, together. But Tae-hyung, last night was the first time in 2 years I've felt wanted, claimed. Like I mattered to you as more than just an obligation. Don't take that away by drowning in guilt. He pulled her close, water streaming over both of them. I don't know how to do this, how to want you without it becoming toxic. We'll learn, one day at a time. They stood under the spray and slowly Amanda felt his tension ease. His arms came around her properly, holding but not crushing, wanting but not trapping, learning. They got out eventually. Tae-hyung made coffee while Amanda raided his closet for clothes that actually fit. They sat in the kitchen in the early morning light, and for the first time in 2 years, they felt like a married couple. What's your schedule today? Tae-hyung asked. The Met until 3. Then I'm meeting with the new exhibition coordinator. Have dinner with me tonight. Properly. Not a business dinner. A date. Amanda smiled. A date with my husband? Is that weird? It's 2 years overdue. But yes, I'd like that. Her phone buzzed again. Another text from Min-jun. Amanda, please. I know I don't deserve your time, but I need to explain. I need you to understand what happened. Amanda showed Tae-hyung, watched his expression harden. Are you going to meet him? He asked carefully. I need closure. I need to understand what happened 7 years ago so I can let it go. And then? And then I come home. To you. To this. She gestured between them. Unless you don't trust me. I trust you. It's him I don't trust. He hurt you once. He'll do it again. Then trust me to handle it. Taehyung was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, but Amanda... He reached across the table, took her hand. Come back to me. Whatever he says, whatever he offers, come back to me. I will. But even as she said it, Amanda felt the pull of unfinished business. The weight of 7 years of questions, the temptation of a man who'd loved her when she was whole. 3 days later, Amanda met Min-jun at a cafe in the West Village. Neutral ground, public space, somewhere she couldn't make bad decisions. He stood when she arrived looking nervous. Good. He should be. Thank you for coming, Min-jun said. I wasn't sure you would. You have 1 hour? Then we're done. Forever. Min-jun nodded. They sat. Amanda ordered coffee she didn't want, just to have something to do with her hands. Tell me everything, she said. Why you left. Why you never called. All of it. So Min-jun told her. His mother's accident. The severity. 3 months in a Seoul hospital watching machines keep her alive. His phone destroyed in the chaos of emergency flights. Being so consumed by trauma that reaching out felt impossible. She woke up eventually, he said quietly. But the recovery was brutal. 2 years of physical therapy, of learning to walk again, to talk. And I was drowning in it, Amanda. Completely drowning. Every day was just about survival, hers and mine. You could have sent a message, 1 text, 1 email, anything. I know. And I tried, eventually, when my mother was stable and I could breathe again, but by then, 9 months had passed. And I called your number and it was disconnected. I changed it, Amanda said flatly. After 6 months of calling you and getting nothing, I changed it. Started over. I should have tried harder, should have contacted your family, your work. But by then, so much time had passed, and I convinced myself you'd moved on. That showing up would only hurt you more, that I'd lost my chance. You did lose your chance. I know. Min-jun looked at her with those gentle eyes that had once meant everything. But Amanda, when I came back to New York 6 months ago and heard you'd married Kim Tae-hyung, when I looked him up and saw who he was, I had to reach out, because your marriage isn't real. Excuse me? He's known as the Ice King in business circles. Cold, controlled, never been in a relationship, never showed interest in anyone. And then, suddenly he marries you in this massive merger, and I thought, this is a business transaction, not love, and you deserve love, Amanda. Real love. You don't know anything about my marriage. I know he grabbed you at that gala like you were his property. I know you looked sad until you saw me. I know. You know nothing. Amanda felt anger rise. You know what you want to see. But Min-jun, my marriage is complicated, but it's mine. And it's real. More real than what we had. How can you say that? We were together for 3 years. And you left. Without a word. Without a call. Yes. You had reasons. Terrible, traumatic reasons. But you still left me wondering what I did wrong. Wondering if I mattered. Spending a year rebuilding myself from the pieces you left behind. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't change anything. You destroyed my ability to trust. Made me question my worth. And now you show up 7 years later expecting what? That I'll just forgive you. Run away with you. I'm not asking you to run away. I'm asking you to remember who you were before you became Mrs. Kim. Before you started playing this role. I'm not playing a role. I'm building a life. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're trapped in a cold marriage to a man who controls you. He doesn't control me. He's learning to... Amanda stopped. I don't owe you explanations about my marriage. Maybe not. But Amanda... Min-jun leaned forward. I got offered the chief photographer position at the Louvre, full-time starting next month. And I told them I knew the perfect curator for a companion exhibition. They want you. Full creative control. Your name, your vision. 6 months in Paris. Everything you ever dreamed about. Amanda's breath caught. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you everything. A dream job. A chance to be yourself again. And... He reached across the table, took her hand. A chance for us. To start over. To be what we should have been. Amanda pulled her hand back. There is no us, Minjun. There could be. You loved me once. I loved who you were, or who I thought you were. But that person left 7 years ago and never came back. You're a stranger now. A kind stranger who's offering me something professionally valuable, but a stranger nonetheless. So you're choosing him, the man who treats you like property? I'm choosing me, Amanda said firmly. I'm choosing to see if the marriage I have can become what I need before I run to the past. And Minjun, she stood. I'll consider the Louvre offer professionally, but romantically, we're done. We were done 7 years ago. I just didn't know it yet. Amanda, wait. Thank you for explaining, for giving me closure. But I need to go home now, to my husband. She left him sitting there and walked into the cold New York afternoon with a job offer in her purse and clarity in her chest. Minjun wasn't her future, he was her past, and it was time to let him stay there. Amanda went straight home, found Tae-hyung in his home office surrounded by papers, looking like he'd been waiting for her. How did it go? He asked carefully. He explained everything, his mother's accident, the trauma, why he couldn't reach out. Amanda walked to him, stood between his knees, and he offered me a job, the Louvre, chief curator for a new exhibition. 6 months in Paris. Tae-hyung's hands settled on her hips. And he offered himself, asked me to choose him, to start over. She felt Tae-hyung tense. What did you say? I said no, that we're done, that he's my past and you're my present. Amanda touched his face. But I want to take the job, not because of him, because it's my dream, and I need to know you'll support that. For 6 months. I'm going to negotiate 3 months, 1 month on-site in Paris, 2 months remote. So I can have both, the dream job and my marriage. Tae-hyung pulled her down onto his lap. You'd really do that? Compromise your dream for us? It's not compromising. It's choosing. I want the job, but I want you more, and I can have both if I'm smart about it. What if they won't negotiate? Then I'll figure it out. But Tae-hyung, I need you to trust me on this. Trust that I can go to Paris for a month and come back to you. That distance won't break us. What if I don't want you to go at all? The confession came out rough. What if I want to keep you here where I can see you every day? That's the unhealthy part talking. I know, but it doesn't make it less true. Amanda kissed him softly. Then, let's make a deal. I'll take the job, if they agree to my terms. And you'll visit me every weekend. Video call every night. And when I come home, we'll take a real honeymoon. Just us. Nowhere either of us has to work. Deal. Tae-hyung's arms tightened around her. But Amanda, if he's there, if he tries anything, he won't. And if he does, I'll handle it. I'm not running back to the past. I'm building a future, with you. Tae-hyung kissed her then, deep and claiming and full of need. And Amanda kissed him back, pouring everything into it. Her choice, her trust, her commitment to making this work. When they broke apart, Tae-hyung rested his forehead against hers. I'm falling for you, he said quietly. Completely. Terrifyingly. And I don't know how to do it without wanting to own every part of you. Then we'll figure it out together, one day at a time. Starting now? Amanda smiled. Starting now. He lifted her easily, carried her to the bedroom they now shared. And when they came together this time, it was slower, more tender, learning each other's bodies, learning that intensity could coexist with care, learning to love each other properly. Amanda negotiated the Louvre contract. 3 months total, 1 month in Paris, 2 months remote. They agreed. The night before she left, Tae-hyung held her close in their bed. "Call me when you land," he said. "I will. And every night. I promise. And Amanda," he turned her to face him, "come back to me, no matter what happens. Come back. I will. This is just a job. You're my home." The month in Paris was hard. Long days at the Louvre, empty nights in a tiny apartment. But Tae-hyung kept his promises. Visited every other weekend instead of every weekend because of work, but called every single night. Sent flowers. Love notes. Proof that distance didn't mean abandonment. Min-jun was there, of course, professional, respectful of boundaries. But Amanda could see it in his eyes, hope that she might change her mind. That proximity might rekindle something. It didn't. Every time she saw Min-jun, all Amanda could think about was Tae-hyung, his intensity, his hands on her skin, his voice rough in her ear, the way he looked at her like she was everything. Min-jun was safety, the past, familiar love. But Tae-hyung was fire, the present, love that challenged her, that pushed her to be more than she thought she could be. The choice wasn't even hard. When Amanda came home after a month, Tae-hyung was waiting at the airport with flowers and desperation in his eyes. "Welcome home," he said. "It's good to be home." How good? Amanda kissed him in front of everyone at arrivals and felt his relief like a physical thing. That night, in their bed, Tae-hyung touched her like he was memorizing her, like the month apart had taught him how much he needed her. "I missed you," he said against her skin. "I missed you too. Never again. Never that long apart." Agreed. And when they came together, it wasn't desperate or rough. It was slow and real and achingly intimate. Two people learning to love each other properly, learning that healthy love was possible. 1 year later, Amanda stood in her gallery, Harford Gallery, her name above the door, at the opening of her first major exhibition. Photographs exploring identity between cultures. Her work, her vision, finally visible. Tae-hyung stood beside her, his hand laced with hers. They'd spent the year building something real, individual therapy, couples therapy every other week, learning to communicate, learning that his intensity didn't have to be toxic, learning that her worth wasn't in what she sacrificed. They still fought, still had moments where his jealousy flared or her old insecurities surfaced. But they worked through them together, with professional help and genuine commitment. "You did this," Tae-hyung said, looking at her photos. "We did this. You supported me. This is all you, your courage, your talent." Around them, New York's art elite mingled, critics, collectors, people who mattered, and they were all here for her work. Across the gallery, Amanda saw Min-jun. He'd moved to Paris permanently, came back for the opening because they'd stayed friends, real friends, with no tension. He'd found someone there, was happy. He raised his glass to her, she raised hers back, then she turned to her husband. The man who'd been her stranger and became her partner, who learned to want her without owning her, who showed up every day, messy and trying and real. "Thank you," Amanda said. "For what?" "For finally showing up, for doing the work, for being what I needed." Tae-hyung pulled her close, right there in the middle of her gallery. "Thank you for not giving up on me, for seeing what we could be when I was too scared to see it myself." He kissed her, and Amanda felt it all the way to her toes. This love they'd built, this partnership they'd fought for, this life that was complicated and real and entirely theirs. Later, when the gallery closed and they went home to their penthouse, Tae-hyung pulled her into his arms. "I have something to tell you," he said. "What?" "I love you. I'm in love with you. Completely. And I should have said it months ago, but I was scared. Scared it would be too much. Scared you wouldn't say it back. But Amanda, I love you. I need you to know that." Amanda felt tears sting her eyes. "I love you too." I've been waiting to hear you say it. Why didn't you say it first? Because I needed to know you were ready to hear it, that it wouldn't scare you away. Taehyung kissed her forehead. Nothing's going to scare me away, not anymore. You're stuck with me. Good, because you're stuck with me too. They went to bed tangled together, and Amanda felt something settle in her chest. Peace, certainty, the knowledge that they'd built something real. Not perfect, not easy, but true, and worth every moment of the fight. That's what real love looks like, messy and complicated and requiring constant work. But when it's right, it's worth everything. If this story touched you, subscribe to this channel, like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear that love isn't about finding perfection. It's about choosing growth. Because the best relationships aren't the ones that are easy. They're the ones where both people show up every single day and choose each other, even when it's hard. Thanks for watching Bestie SS. See you in the next story.